Hello everybody and welcome back to Serious Sunday. I'm your host Luke and this is the show where I talk about video games and things. And this week we see yet some more boneheaded news from Nintendo where they have recently announced that they are discontinuing the production of the NES Classic miniature NES emulation console. It's unsurprising that Nintendo is making yet another bad business decision, but when you consider the extreme popularity of the NES Classic and their propensity towards selling out as soon as they get on shelves, I find it difficult to believe that not continuing their product line would be a good idea. So in another month we'll see more NES Classics on retail store shelves, which will undoubtedly sell far too quickly, and those of us who don't have one already but were hoping to get our hands on one are going to be shit out of luck, aside from those of us who are willing to pay through the nose on eBay or want to wait a few years until people get sick of theirs and decide to throw them up on sale. I personally am lucky enough to own a still working original NES console and quite a few old games. There are a lot of people for whom this is sort of the dream console, especially people who weren't particularly interested in any of the gimmicks of the Nintendo Wii or Wii U, or now the Nintendo Switch, for whom the only other opportunity to play NES games without resorting to emulation is via the virtual console on those systems. By no means was the NES Classic the only way for you to play NES games, although one of the few ways to play them legitimately. It was still a great concept. But it's a shitty move on the half of Nintendo attempting to stay relevant through the enforcement of planned artificial scarcity, much like they've been doing with their amiibos, and basically any other console release that they ever do. Are they going to come out on top in this particular deal? Of course they are. They're making profits on each console that they release, most likely, and so the release of the NES Classic has been basically just a pure win for them. But considering how recently it was released and how few people actually have managed to get their hands on the NES Classic that wanted one, it's hard to look at it and see anything but a ill-conceived dick move on Nintendo's part. As like as not, we're going to be seeing a SNES Classic before too long, and we'll most likely see the exact same shit pulled when they do that one. But if nothing else, we can at least not fault Nintendo for being inconsistent. This is kind of their MO, and so we really shouldn't be surprised by all of this. I read a report on Kotaku, which is where I originally found the news that Nintendo has decided to discontinue this particular console, where they state that they understand that it's difficult for consumers to get their hands on the console, and they apologize about it, then go on to talk about appreciating levels of consumer interest and support for the product, but announcing the discontinuation of a popular product long before the demand has been met is, in my mind, pretty gross. But I've learned not to expect very much out of Nintendo, so I guess I'll just have to shrug my shoulders about this particular one. So the short version today is, if you're interested in getting yourself an NES Classic, you're running out of time. Scrape together those few $100 because they're going away. So congratulations, Nintendo. If nothing else, at the very least, you've given me yet one more thing to point to when I try to explain to people why Nintendo doesn't give a shit about the people that enjoy their games. If you're looking for an NES Classic, I really hope that you manage to get your hands on one without having to go through some scalper. That's it for me for today. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Serious Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday if you happen to be watching this on the Sunday that it comes out. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of whatever day it happens to be that you're watching this on. Thank you very much, and take care.